There are some things that lurk in the dark of night that are very real and cannot be easily dismissed as the constructs of a wild imagination. Creatures perhaps in human form but certainly demonic in nature. The story you are about to hear tale of really did take place over a span of 30 years. The existence of a true vampire was so cleverly concealed that only a few ever suspected the true nature of the beast that dwelled close by. Even once the deeds of the creature were finally brought to light in the hallowed halls of a court of law, the crimes were so horrendous that to most they were impossible to believe. Vile, hellish, unnatural behaviors that could not possibly be true, yet, when all the witnesses had completed their testimonies, there could be no doubt and the only verdict possible was guilty. The majority of victims were the poor or outcasts of society, so at first, no one really cared. The fact that the barbaric practices were possibly being carried out by a person of nobility, of the aristocracy, perhaps blinded many to the disappearances of the young girls. After all, what took place behind castle walls was the divine right of nobles and could never be questioned by those of lesser birth. But the taste for peasant blood, as could be expected, eventually turned to a finer vintage. A blood considered more robust and of a superior quality. The blue blood of fellow aristocrats, and when the first of the nobility's offspring began to disappear, suddenly the threat awoke those that had remained idle and a cry for justice began to ring out. What took place in the nether regions of the Carpathian Mountains often went unnoticed, but now that the horrific series of murders landed upon the ears of the emperor, a ruler already concerned that his throne rested upon shaky ground. The reports of creatures spewing from the gates of hell and now freely roaming through the empire could no longer be ignored, as each report threatened his reign further. But the occult nature of these reports meant that as emperor, he must turn to the only resource within his domain that could counter such evil hellspawn with mystical powers of their own. A select group of combatants that had served the empire in the past and were the chosen God-given salvation for such catastrophic times. It was now clearly the time to re-establish the Trinity, just as his brother had done over 20 years before. Though the intervening decades meant that not every member of the Trinity would be present, perhaps enough of the bloodlines remained to suggest that the chance of success might just be possible. Little did anyone suspect that what the members of the Trinity would uncover could result in the ultimate collapse of the empire should they fail in their task. As author of the Trinity trilogy of novels, the preservation of these stories is vitally important. Passed down from generation to generation, the fact that these stories are being proven to be true through historical findings and research is a testimony to the reliability of the oral traditions. These are the legends of the Kahana and they are the cherished history of my family. Though once referred to as myths, the unveiling of factual evidence to support these stories elevated their status to legends. With the uncovering of more details and revelation of more facts, they are no longer legends but established and accepted history. Blood of Trinity is an accounting of one such history. Years of storytelling have convinced us that the purveyors of the dark forces are ugly and vile to look upon, but I will tell you truthfully, the true evil will often wrap itself within a cloak of beauty and awe, its tendrils easily drawing people towards its grasp. The evil that abounded in the 17th century was very real and extremely dangerous. It knew no limits and most of all it thirsted for power. Because once in a position of power, it understood that it would be almost impossible to remove. Only a miracle would save the people of Europe this time. How was it possible that Nostradamus had foreseen all of these events that would take place? How could the ancient bloodline from Jewish priest-kings prove to be the antidote to a plague of evil? How could the emergence of modern science prepare a defense against forces that appeared to defy the physical principles of nature? Only the Trinity would be able to provide the answers to such questions, but only if they managed to succeed. Blood of Trinity, the second book of the Trinity trilogy, is available from Amazon Books and all quality booksellers with internet sales platforms worldwide. For more exciting stories from the Kahana Chronicle series, go to amazonbooks.com and search for author Alan E. Goldenthal. Uncover history, the way it was meant to be.